Yes,
I was just going to add to Danielle from REM and yes, videotape. There is often a gap between CHP's outcomes and their care plans being provided to the provider because of their member-centered service plans. So as the guardian, to really advocate that the provider be part of that and have that information is really important so that we have a unified effort towards the outcomes and everyone's on the same page. I've just noticed how much that is disconnected in this area. I'm from Madison, I've been up here since December, and it's very important.
Well, as I said, in the county-based system, there was more of a value on including providers as a part of the interdisciplinary team. That's not so much the case in family care unless a guardian invites the provider to be present. Oftentimes, they are excluded.
Right.
So, unless you have a friendly kind of care manager who wants that to happen, then the guardian needs to stand up and say, yes, the provider should be there because I don't know everything that there is to know about, the resource allocation decision-making process and all the things that go into it, and I want somebody there to help me evaluate it.
Exactly. With her comment, it was your provider can answer questions for you too, as a guardian if you contact them. And absolutely would be happy to.
But every other state in the country, providers are at the table. They're a part of that discussion. The only way it's happening in Wisconsin now really is if MCO, is a little more progressive in its thinking and wants that to happen, or if the guardian demands that it happens. Yes, sir.
My name is Don Hauser. I'm a program support teacher in the Eau Claire schools. The question is there a standard for level of employment versus 10 hours versus 20 hours versus 30 hours for any of the clients?
I think there's been some effort to try to determine whether or not an employment situation is adequate, in terms of what other services that person might need. I would suggest that if a person is only getting 10 hours of supported employment, for example, a week, that they're going to need some other service for a variety of reasons. You don't want to put the responsibility back on the parents to deal with the other 30 hours, for example. And there's actually a part of the sustainability plan for family care that has been developed by the Department of Health Services is to support families, keeping their individuals at home longer than they had in the past. So if that's the case, then obviously something else needs to happen during that day. But whether it's a 20 or 30 or whatever, I think there's a lot of judgment that has to go into that. And I would think that that's a subject that should be addressed during that team meeting.
And glad somebody brought up special education, because another one of my passions. I do lots of special education work, and I'm really interested in transition. And we were telling special ed parents for years that wait for family care, you'll be in the promised land. And actually, it's the stuff that the state has put out in terms of the expectation for age 18, family care is supposed to be at the table. Family care is supposed to be providing whatever funding is necessary to braiding is the word, braid together with special education, braid together with DVR. That group has got more available to it than ever before in the history of our state, okay? Now, does it require a lot of prodding? Yes. But the family care piece of it may not be all that expensive if the school and DVR are also putting resources into the employment plan, and the finding what to do for the rest of the week isn't as crucial if we're dealing with somebody who's going to be in school for a couple more years. And so there really are a lot of opportunities there, and I'm sorry for the folks who are burned out and tired and whatever. We should be enthusiastic for the parents of those 18-year-olds to get in there and get what they can out of family care. And then the last thing I'm going to say is people like you are going to create the paradigm for that kid. When he's 25, I want his guardian or him to be able to say, I was working 25 hours a week the last year I was in high school. I was getting these kinds of supports. I was doing these kinds of recreational things. I was taking a course just for personal interest at the tech school, and now look at me. Can I have some of that back? Okay, so thank you.